see if he can pop in. Welcome to Wednesday night chat. We are up and running.
Hello, everyone.
Yep, we have Anthony here. Patrick will probably pop in later, and hopefully John will also join us.
Yeah.
For those that follow my channel, you notice I post a little clip of Sarasota Airport. Hello, Patrick.
Hello.
You made it.
I did.
Yes. So if you see that little clip, yes, I went to Boston this past few days. I came back late Sunday, but I was in Boston Friday through Sunday to visit my dad. It was my dad turned 84 last week, and that's the reason for my visit. And just so that people understand, I'm not going to go into great detail, but my dad is one of the most difficult person to deal with. Beyond difficult. Okay, it's okay. My dad's birthday was last week. I called months ago telling my dad that we will be coming up this weekend because Anthony had no school Friday. Friday was a professional day down here in Sarasota. That means that the teachers are not teaching because they need time to do all the calculation and entering in all the grade for the first quarter of the year. So every quarter they give one day where they call it professional day, where there's no school for the students, but the teacher got to come in to finalize all the grade and grade everything and enter anything. So we knew from the first day of school that last weekend was that weekend. Mm-hmm. So I call ahead to let everyone know, all my siblings know that I will be a week late as far as dad's birthday. So can everybody hold off until this weekend to have the party, the cake, the dinner, all that stuff? You think they would do that for us? I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted that people couldn't give a rat ass. I'm just like, really? Guess what? Maybe next time I won't spend the $1,500 in airplane ticket to waste my time. I don't need that.
Yeah.
Bye.
You'll get shit over that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I hear grief about showing up a week late. I'm like, really? If you're 84 years old, I think you can wait one extra week.
I think that's why old people are mean sometimes, because they know they only got so much time left.
But
like waiting in line.
Yeah, but so that's how my weekend was. So yes, I was in Boston, but let me say this: it was not fun. It was listening to a whole lot of whining and griping and complaining and this and that, and I'm just like, I wish I booked the flight early Sunday morning. Why do I need to be here? I'm a grown man. Anyhow, welcome to the Wednesday night chat. Nick family problem discussion. I have a couple questions.
Oh,
good. All right, great. Love questions.
Let's jump right into it so that we see what we can do. I see a couple questions right here in the chat room already. Before we go on, let's say hello to Kevin, Brian, the winner of the 1.6 billion Mega Million lottery ticket came from South Carolina, for those that didn't know. Yeah. And obviously, all the people in the chat room did not win.
What are you saying? If they won, they wouldn't tune into this highly entertaining program.
If I won, I would have tuned in, man's naked.
Oh, a treat for everyone.
I would be just like, yeah, take this internet, take this. I am 1.6 billion rich.
You're like a dollar sign tattoo on each cheek.
Yeah, I would be like, if you hate me before, you're gonna hate me even more.
You'd be like, you ever see Caddyshack, the Rodney Dangerfield character in that? He's a really over-the-top, obnoxious rich guy.
Yeah.
If I ever won that kind of money, I would become that guy.
That's what I told Anthony over the weekend. I told him, if people thought I was obnoxious before, wait until I've got 1.6 billion. Level will go to the max because of civility and niceness, which I don't have much, tossed out the window. Anyhow, Dead Clone is here, Goomba is here, Simon Comics is here, Who Dat is here, Kevin R is here, Paul S is here, Cougar Comic is here. Hello and welcome.
The whole country, coast to coast.
My goodness. Right. All right, so the first question I have is CGC Red Label. Have you guys ever seen the CGC Red Label?
I haven't, no.
No, I've seen CBCS Red Labels.
Yeah.
Okay, let me show you a picture of the Red Label, okay? I know the answer, but I figure you guys may not be familiar with it.
Is it a new thing, Nick, or is it?
No, it's not.
Wow.
Let me look it up and show you what they look like.
We got the green.
Cool. I used to have one. I wish I kept the one that I have, because I did. I had one that I didn't know why until I sold it. I had one in 2008. One of the few slabs I bought in 2008 was a red one because I thought it was like, ooh, cool Red Label. And then I sold it. And then I later I found out why they have Red Label. I'm like, oh, let me find a picture. Oh, darn it. I had it here and then I did not. Well, first of all, before I show you the picture, okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Let me switch the screen and share so that you can see. I'm sure
I'm afraid it's going to shoot to a video of him, and he really did in the water.
He pre-recorded that video where he's dancing naked just in case he won.
Get it nice and close.
There you go. Can you see?
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, right. I have seen those. Now you say that. You know what? What was that company that called themselves Global something for a while? I always think they had a Red Label, didn't they? They went away.
Mm.
Do you remember that one in the early 2000s?
No, I do not remember. But take a look at this. Okay, so that's it. Basically, the old green. Oh, Dr. Von Schiller is here in the house.
Oh,
so
well, at least Etrigan's here. I don't know if Dr. Von Schiller is.
he's
okay.
Still
so
trying to get up.
Now, what are these? Maybe you guys can figure out the answer. But why do? Take a look at the book I show you on the screen.
Back then, did they do a different color for a different tier? Like
I saw something called I saw married cover.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was like they did their old standard and modern and all that way.
Patrick is almost correct.
Okay.
So now that I should get back in the early, this is like the first year of CGC, I believe. They had the blue label, those old label that you see the blue.
Yep.
And the red one was supposed to be modern.
Oh.
So the 3 or 4 books I show you, they were copper age.
So they can. Oh, okay.
They're like they came out in the mid '80s and
so they lumped copper in with modern.
So what happened was I think CGC did that in the very beginning, and then they realized that my God, if we do that, we need a lot more color.
Oh yeah.
Because this is, I believe, before they launched the yellow label, and so. Knowing that they will launch a yellow label for signature, and they don't want to like come up with like 2 or 3 other color for other ages. If people want to be more confused with like what is non-modern and
like
modern.
A box of Skittles.
So they decided to be just like all blue and yellow
and purple
and green.
And green.
So that's it. I mean, it's not that there used to be some discussion that Red Label were graded more strict.
No,
that's just another myth that it's not. It's no.
It doesn't seem to want to die.
It's like the old blue label goodness you hear about.
Yeah.
Right.
I've never seen that. I've never seen it. So
so now you've seen it. Now you know the backstory. Yeah. If I'm wrong,
a lot of people probably had them reholdered, right? That's why they don't have it anymore.
I still see them. Yeah. Not a lot because, like I said, they only exist the first year. Mm-hmm. First year of CGC, I don't think they slapped like 100,000 books. So it's not like compared.
Are they rare? Are they
wait a minute, they're rare now. So that's the thing.
caps and inflate your price 300%.
I mean, they only printed 500,000 copies of this one book, but there's only maybe 200 in the red label.
You know what would make that scarce if there was 500,001 guys that wanted them? Then it is.
Variant label. Yeah.
Oh, the ultimate variant.
Oh my god!
Hey, you know, they do the special label with Stanley face on it, or Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You know, this is a rarer of all the rare, because
manufactured rarity.
Yeah, a lot of them are one of a kind.
Ooh.
Yeah. So for the variant collectors out there, red label, start hunting.
That's right. You can have a bronze book, a copper book, and still call it a variant.
You want one of a kind? There you go. Okay. Most likely they're all one of a kind or two of a kind. Well, for sure, I'm pretty sure they're like one of a kind of thing.
All right.
So that's one question.
That's interesting. That was interesting. I never saw that before. So.
Okay. The other question that I have is about pedigree label on pedigree labeling on the label. Let me read the question if I can find it again.
We lost Doc.
Yes.
There's a black cloud hovering somewhere over Pennsylvania of just utter foul swearing right now.
I'm trying to find the question, but if I don't, I can't remember. You know, basically the question asks about what determines something a pedigree or collection. How does one get a special designation on the label?
Like the Tongi farm and what was that one up in Alaska they found up in a shed? That one always gets a lot of.
Yeah, well, the first thing is
Spring City. That's a big one.
Is a Tongi farm even on a label?
I don't know if it is, but it's always referred to. That's the one I always hear.
Yeah, the Tongi farm was found and curated by and sold by Quality Comics.
Okay.
Down in Alabama.
Okay.
And if you buy a book from that collection, you get a little certificate.
Yeah.
Let's say from the Tongi collection, it tells you what book it is and what grade.
I have a follow-up question.
So I don't think I have ever seen a Tongi collection, a label on a slab.
I think you're right. I only ever see it on like eBay or on the forums and things like that.
I have seen people
reference it
on their listing or advertising, but never on a slab.
Yeah.
I have seen book in a slab that mentioned that it came from the Tongi collection without the labeling. You know, so I don't believe. The only time where a collection, there is a few occasions where a collection get on the label, like the Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
So there is a few occasions. The one that are very common that most people know about is the Nicolas Cage collection. That's not a pedigree. Now, as far as pedigree, that's a completely different beast.
Yeah.
To get a pedigree is not easy. Okay, people think that, oh, you know, I have a big original collection from the 60s and it should be a pedigree. CGC have a very tough standard to give something a pedigree. First of all, it has to contain a lot of keys. Okay, and on top of that, the keys have to be mid-grade to high grade. It doesn't have to be 9.0, but it gotta be like
nice
7, 8 kind of thing. You know, like you can't have like, oh, you know, I have a original collection of 1.0. It's nice. Kudos to you to buy that and have it, but CGC is not gonna slap on a pedigree of Nicholas Vu. If I bought these books 50 years ago and kept them for 50 years and had them in 1.0 or 2.0, that's not going to cut it because they want to make pedigree rare. And if they just include collections that have a lot of Silver Age keys in low grade as well, it would be 10 times more pedigrees.
Doesn't some of it come into account too that it should have been all purchased by a single collector hopefully off the shelf, more than just somebody went out there and bought it.
Correct. It has to be
It's like that guy that has his channel, that Lee Ditko or whatever he calls himself. His dad has every comic ever made, basically.
But it would never be a pedigree.
No. I mean, it's a collection, but it's not really a pedigree.
Would Bill Gaines, is that a pedigree? Since he has high grade on practically every book that EC put out and then released into the public, would that be considered a pedigree?
Well, didn't Bill Gaines keep all his book in in his office, like the file copy?
Yeah, the file copies.
That's I mean, would those be considered pedigree or no? Is that completely different?
They label it files copy because it's just like Stanley files copy. When Stanley sold his collection, many of the books was labeled files copy because I don't really know the differences, but I think one is my collection in my house, and one is just like it's
stored away
at so
makes sense.
It's just like my Superman 13, the one with the first Superman breaking the chain. It's a file copy, so basically it was kept at DC headquarters at the time.
That's pretty cool, though.
That's pretty cool. Now, that would be more interesting to me than a pedigree.
Yes. So to get a pedigree, you have to be, you can't. No, speaking of that, like the Mile High pedigree, a few years after the Mile High pedigree came out, they also tried to do a Mile High 2. Are you guys familiar with the Mile High 2?
No.
Whoa.
They're all
an airplane thing involving a plunger in the bathroom.
There are some books out there. There are some slabs out there that say Mile High Roman numeral 2. And what happened was Chuck also found that collection. But it turns out it was not a collection. It was a warehouse full of books.
No.
And he, tried to make that that's how stringent. It doesn't matter if a bunch of
that's like the Koch warehouse thing too, right? Because that was really just a big warehouse find.
Yeah, it's like I said, a warehouse find full of books. Doesn't matter if it's like an awesome warehouse find with a lot of keys. It's a warehouse find. It's not a collection. It's not a pedigree.
Okay.
So yeah, but that's as far as now. Can I convince CGC to slap my big keys and call it from the collection of Nicholas Vu? I don't know.
Perhaps if you like suffered from like a Tales from the Crypt demise, maybe, and it made the paper.
Well, perhaps if I won the 1.6 billion
and did the naked dance on YouTube, that would probably get
most obnoxious collectors there is. They would say from the collection of the most obnoxious collector. ETA Nick. Change his name from Nicholas Vu to ETA Nick. He goes like that. No, but so that's it. That's basically the question I have. So unless you guys know how to request to have CGC give you the special notation on the slab, I don't know. How.
I think it's going to be, unless there's a found collection, it's going to be harder and harder to get one.
Yes, and speaking of collection, like the collection that I stumbled across this year, hey, they have all the keys.
Yeah, that would,
It has all the keys, but all the keys are 2.0 to 5.0, so it's not a pedigree.
It's not a pedigree.
It's not. You cannot go out there and buy a bunch of books and call yourself and try to get a pedigree. CGC. And a lot of time, it's easy for CGC graders and experts to look at a bunch of books and tell that it's not the same collection.
Correct. Yeah.
If you bring me a box of Silver Age books saying, this is my off the rack, and they're all different grade, different color pages.
You can just tell, even the smell.
And some have stamp, and some doesn't have stamp, and they'll be like, no, we are not dummies. Your collection are not a pedigree. But yeah, at the end of the day, as Knights of Old say here, CGC does what they want. They have their discretionary decision making. They can do what they want. But if you know ahead what the criteria are, you wouldn't be wasting your time. That's why there have not been a new Pedigree in a few years. I'm sure many people try. Every time I see a big collection at the surface, many people ask the same question: can this be a Pedigree? And usually the answer is no. Okay. If you have other questions, go ahead and ask. If not, I can have a few topics I can bring up. Oh, before we go on, thank you for those that subscribe to my podcast. I have no idea how it works, but obviously some people did subscribe to it and listen to it, so it works. I suppose.
You get any kind there's no room to comment on that, right? You just listen to it. It's a one shot and done, like any other podcast.
I think, yeah. I'm guessing, since I'm not a big listener of podcasts.
No.
So I don't know much. In fact, I didn't even listen to my own podcast. I just loaded and then I re-listened like the first 5-10 minutes just to make sure that the audio is decent enough.
Yeah.
And it seemed to be okay. Otherwise, I might have to amp up the volume before I load.
It'd be interesting to see if people that maybe just listen to the podcast and have never seen this start showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those that have listened to the podcast, please let me know if it works okay. You like that format? Because if you do, I will keep loading them every week. Okay. It's just from what I saw, something like 18 to 25 people listen to them. So hey, there's some people out there that digest that format. Not a big deal, as long as there are people that would rather listen than watch YouTube videos. I will keep doing that. It's not a big deal. It's not a big financial burden.
No, I kind of use them that way anyway, because I'll put them on and just do stuff, have it on in the background.
Yes, Brian Spaceboy, I have a podcast. There should be a link. I copy and paste a link to the comment section. So it's there if you want to look. If not, let me know and I can give you the link later. But it's on the video. The video that I said the podcast is up and running. There are links there for you to follow and subscribe if you want to. Okay. What was I gonna talk about? What about the news recently that Netflix has canceled Luke Cage as well?
Oh, yeah. I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. Just this week.
Just I think a day or two after they cancel Iron Fist.
Yeah, and they had it most, I guess, from what you can gather from the internet, which is a cesspool, but the writers had most of the season written already. So, and as recently as Baltimore Con, Michael Coulter was talking about it. So he had no idea. So it was definitely a bag over the head punch in the face. So
yeah, I think this is basically, well,
it had to happen, right? Because Disney isn't just going to let them keep making Marvel characters on Netflix. They want that for themselves.
Well, it's one of those things that I think most of us, I included, are not very clear of the relationship between Disney and Netflix. Because we all heard all kind of discussion about all the things that all the shows on Netflix are staying on Netflix. Well, that's not true. It's a contract where I'm sure both sides can back out. It's not like indefinite, like you can never withdraw Iron Fist or Luke Cage or Punisher back. No, this is not a case like where Marvel licensed Spider-Man to Sony and can never.
Right.
It's not that case. So Marvel and Netflix can disband the relationship anytime they wish to, and it's all about money. I had this discussion with a friend offline just yesterday. I'm just like, ultimately, this is just my take. Okay, it could be completely wrong, but it's about money.
Yeah,
I'm sure Netflix internal data tell them how much subscribers are watching and how much new subscribers are signing up for these shows. I'm sure Daredevil season 1 was the biggest success they had. You know, when they launched Daredevil, tons of people subscribed. They make millions, right? But then there are a diminishing return.
Yep.
The more show you launch, the less new subscribers jump on. And so it's less money. That's why the show gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, right? And another thing, which kind of backed my view, is that I'm sure Netflix are not happy to be shoved down 13 episodes with 4 or 5 fillers. It's just like, if we're going to pay you 13, don't give us 1/3 crap.
Yeah.
And that's what Marvel has been doing for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they greenlit season 2 of Luke 3 of Luke Cage, and then when they saw the script, and they're like, we want either you cut the episode down, we're not paying for 13.
No.
We're not paying for this 13, okay? Because our viewers, our commenters are saying it's too long, too much fillers.
Yeah.
I mean, even the people that think these shows are great will admit that there are fillers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's certainly a lot of that.
So I'm sure that's what the final draw, in my opinion, I believe the final drawdown was Marvel was not willing to say, no, we are not taking less money for less episodes. You either swallow what you thought you want,
Yikes.
or we take the show back to ourselves.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, you know, if Disney view that there are more potential later to use those characters on their own channel, why not, right?
Yeah.
Disney is spending.
They would do it with a bigger budget, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, think about this. Both companies are out there to make money. If Disney can make more money selling the shows on Netflix, they would do that. But if they can make more money by keeping the shows on their streaming channel so that more people would subscribe and pay $4.99 a month, what would they do? They keep the show, right? So it's just one of those things where both companies are out there to make the most money. So I'm not surprised that the relationship will dissolve eventually. And eventually Netflix will go chasing after Warner Brothers for content.
Or they'll just come up with their own content. There's nothing to stop them from that, right?
Correct, but you know,
they did home runs with Stranger Things and shows like Ozark and other shows like that. I don't know why they wouldn't just keep doing that. They could create their own superheroes, right?
Yeah, and they already signed a deal with Rob Liefeld.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they are already thinking the next step.
Mark Millar, who's he signed on with?
Netflix.
Oh, he is. Okay, so I mean, yeah, they could do stuff like that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of writers out there that I'm sure don't want to play by the Big Two's games. So
correct. So there are, like I said, Netflix is already looking at the next life after Disney.
Yeah,
and it's smart for them to do because, hey, you know, the longer. And I agree with many people that Netflix did very minimal advertising for Daredevil season 3.
Yes, they
did.
There was none, really.
Yeah.
Like I said, they are not going to spend another nickel because
I didn't even know when season 3 was starting up until a few weeks before it started. I was like, wow, it's starting up.
I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
You know, and Netflix, I believe, like I said, they don't share the proprietary data so that we don't know for sure. But if you follow Netflix as long as I have, and I'm sure many people in the chat room have, there are more international shows on Netflix now than ever. The subscriber growth, if you follow what's going on, the subscriber growth at Netflix is international. That's why there are more shows from South America, more shows from Europe, more shows from Asia. Because that's where the new content, new subscriber are coming from, right? So does the people from Korea care to watch Jessica Jones season 2 or 3? I can tell you, Netflix have their own numbers, and the numbers say no. Okay, it's all about money. It's all about pleasing the subscriber, and US subscribers just gotta learn you are not the majority anymore. But that's the sad truth. People might not agree, but you see.
That's why they keep making Transformer movies.
Jeez.
They might. Hey, they're making.
They're huge in Asia. They love them in Asia. They're god awful here, but they make humongous money. They'll keep making them.
Okay, let's see. I thought there was a question here. That clone asked if I watched The Haunting on Hill House. I only watched the first episodes. I'm not a huge fan of horror, so it's really hard for me to sit down and watch horror. I watched a horror movie last week, the one that I did the review for, The Apostle.
Yeah.
That one I like a lot. I was surprised that, hey, for me, it's easier for me to consume a 2-hour movie as far as horror than sit here and watch a 10-episode horror TV show.
Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, I have done it. The most recent one is the one on Hulu with the Stephen King.
What was Castle Rock?
Castle Rock, okay, and that was not. I mean, it's okay. I liked it. It's certainly creepy and scary, but not horrific, not jump scare, not that kind of scare. Yeah. But still, for me, it's not my thing. I can watch it, but I've had to be in like a special mood.
Yeah.
To watch it. It's not like something that I'm like, oh man, I love horror. I gotta watch. No, it had to be the right mood for me to sit down and consume a few hours of that stuff.
Oh, I would love it if Netflix would come out with like a Tales from the Crypt type show. I think that'd be great. I think they'd be good at it.
There you go. There you go, Anthony. You need to be the writer.
I will be the writer. I'll make sure that show gets done.
Because they wouldn't be bound by any of the rules that show had to follow back then. I mean, they could do whatever they wanted.
If I was in charge, I would have a Crypt Keeper that was more close to the original incarnation of him. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Instead of that stupid puppet.
I like the puppet.
Everyone liked the puppet. He was so. But if you ever read some of the early issues, even going back to Crime Patrol, the Crypt Keeper was more of a same thing with the Vault Keeper. He was very ominous, creepy. It wasn't until several issues later, a couple of years later, they started, with all the puns and all that stuff. The way the HBO Crypt Keeper was.
Yeah, it's
and he looked nothing like that in the comic.
Like I said, there is a lot from what I heard. There's a lot of good horror series on Netflix that it's just not my thing. And even when it's not horror, even if it is supernatural, that's also not in my.
Yeah, I like monster movies. I'm into those. If they have a monster movie type show, I'd watch it. But
yeah, I like Godzilla kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like
Werewolf or Frankenstein, stuff like that.
King Kong, you name it. I like. I am with Patrick. I prefer monster over horror.
Well, okay, all right. Because I was going to ask you. You sort of just already answered my question. Like John Carpenter type horror.
Yes.
Yeah, The Thing is one of my all-time favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking Halloween, not like that. I'm talking like The Thing. I'm talking about Prince of Darkness, things that are slightly different.
Yes, I like The Thing.
The Return of the Living Dead, I love. That's
that's great.
Yes,
it's a fantastic movie.
Yeah. The second one wasn't
not as
not
good.
so good, but the first one was fantastic.
I still like the second one. Those two together are great.
Yes, they were a great team.
The guy that's always worried and just those two together, I could watch them over and over again in movies. But.
Yeah, they're funny. They worked well together.
I need to check out Black Mirror.
Yeah, everyone's doing that too.
Everyone has been raving about this show for a long time, and I have not had the time. Like I said, I know a lot of people disagree with me. Oh, there's nothing to watch on TV. I disagree. There's too much thing to watch on TV. I don't have time. I mean, I have a lot of free time, as you can tell. But even with the amount of free time that I have, I just can't watch everything. So the horror genre being my least interest tend to get pushed back the most because I'm just like, I don't have time for that. But now that I'm watching a new series right now on Netflix called The Bodyguard that just launched. Yeah, see, that's another thing. Just when I thought I had time to watch more horror shows, something like The Bodyguard popped up, and I had to watch that 8 episode or whatever.
Is that sort of like a retelling of the Whitney Houston movie from the early 90s?
This one is secret British Secret Service guarding the Prime Minister kind of thing.
Okay, all right. I like the In Living Color version of The Bodyguard. You know what I'm talking about? The one where Kevin Costner had to look after Grace Jones.
Yes, Ross Campbell, the British UK show, and if you watch the few clips that they put on YouTube as far as trailers, it looked pretty damn good. I saw I think 3 different clips. One of them's like a 5-minute action car chase sniper thing. I'm just like, yeah, give me some of that.
What is the big movie coming out for the holiday season? Last year was The Last Jedi. The year before that was that whatever the hell that was, Rogue, that other Star Wars movie. What's the big movie this year?
This year?
Yeah. Anything?
Avengers.
No, I mean for around the holidays, because usually around the holidays, because last year was Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Last couple of years were Star Wars movies, and then
when is Aquaman coming out?
I don't know.
Is it Aquaman coming out?
No, it seems like it's been coming out for 6 months now.
I thought Aquaman was coming out in the end of November. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Yeah, the chat room say Aquaman.
Aquaman, okay. All right.
Yeah, Aquaman is the only thing that I can think of.
Yeah, because they usually have a big movie that comes out around Christmas, and then of course the summer movies. And I was just wondering what's coming out
Mary Poppins in the chat room. People are bringing up Mary Poppins, Aquaman, Creed 2.
Oh, Creed 2. Okay.
Okay, but no big outside of Aquaman. There are no big superhero movies.
Okay.
You can blame Fox with all the reshoot, all the Phoenix stuff. They keep pushing it back forever. So
they push back.
New Mutants, is that just dead on the vine now? Or are they ever going to release that? Or do you think that's just going to get released on Disney?
I think it will be released on Disney with a complete new name.
Yeah.
And they're not going to use
the newer mutants.
It's going to be like a horror TV show.
Yeah.
It's just going to be just like, none of these are mutants.
Yeah.
They are not mutants.
Yeah.
They're now they're now hipsters.
They are just freaks with power.
Yeah, there you go. Demonic power.
But yeah. Oh, the other big news, of course, is DC is pushing back Wonder Woman by 7 months.
7 months.
Oh, good heaven! Yes, the big news. If you didn't pay attention, for those that I'm sure I'm rehashing everything that all the big channel talk about, like Colliders and yeah. But Wonder Woman being reshoot, redo, all kind of crap. They are pushing the release 7 months back, and then they're naming it Flashpoints.
Oh no!
They're gonna reboot.
Wow.
It's gonna be reboot.
And they're using that character because that's the only one that worked.
So it's gonna be reboot. It's gonna be so whatever's going on with Wonder Woman, the original script, lots of changes. Oh boy, that's all I gotta say. Oh boy.
If you can hang on to that actress, it'll probably still be a success.
Yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a DC hater or Marvel fanboy. I just want good movies. So please,
all I want.
Enough of the F up.
Just hire the guys that make the DC animated films and let them do the live action films.
Yeah?
Because the DC animated films are head and shoulders better than the Marvel animated films.
Let's switch over to comic books since we
all right, let's talk about comic books.
Did you guys win anything yesterday?
No, I lost heartily.
Comic Link auction was last night, and tonight is Golden Age.
There's some Silver Age too.
There's some Silver Age. There are a bunch of books. So if you are sitting on some cash, you gotta spend.
Man up.
Man up over at Comic Link.
I thought I was paying way over GPA on some of these, and I still lost by a lot.
I need to contact Josh, the owner of Comic Link and ask for financial backing because I'm advertising his stuff on this channel.
Oh, Nick, can you show the picture that I asked for the back cover scan?
Oh God, that was a horrible
back
cover.
This is a classic Comic Link sneaky trick.
Let me see. Let me look it up.
It's like you said, Patrick. Always ask to see the back cover.
Always, because that front cover can look pristine and beautiful, and then you flip it over and you get what hopefully Nick can pull up and show you.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me see if I can share.
The only thing I will say, it took them 3 days to answer me. So if you're thinking of a book, don't plan on doing it the day of, because
forget you're not going to get an answer. You're not going to get a response.
And if I had bought that book, I would have been pissed.
Is it there? There you go.
There you go.
There you go, everybody.
It has a note though too. Careful with that.
Somebody was doing their math homework, adding 3 digits.
But then you got them.
See, I didn't check if they did their math right either.
Yeah, I didn't check.
Okay, so this book is a 3.5.
Yeah.
FF3. It looked great from the front.
Oh, it did.
It looked fantastic from the front. It looked like a 5.0.
Oh God!
And then you got the big water stain, rusty staple, and calculus.
The entire back is covered with pencil that someone tried to erase.
I checked the math. It is correct.
Okay, all right. Well, at least we got that.
On their homework.
Somebody did their math homework, or if that's money laundering calculation.
Oh.
Maybe the mob was doing some calculation. You would put in.
Maybe it was the guy figuring out how much money he could make by selling those shoes.
Exactly. So yes, this is a perfect example of why.
Yikes.
Always should request. I learned my lesson hard because there was time where I bought even cheap stuff, right?
Yeah.
Even stuff that's like $200, $300. I'm like, I don't need the back cover. And then when I got the book, I'm just like, my God,
yeah,
the back is all jacked up.
Yeah. I paid $300 for a bag of garbage.
I paid $300 for a book that the back looked like complete trash. You know, it's. I can't stress enough that if you want to bid on something on Comic Link and the book look like it's undergraded significantly.
Yeah, that's the key.
Ask for the back cover, okay?
Yeah, that book was, what was that, a 3.5? And it looked like a 5.5 all day long, maybe even a 6. And that's why I was like, something's wrong here. So I asked for it, and sure enough, the back was like that.
And, you know, it's, to me, some people would, you know, spend the $5, $10, or $10 or whatever it is to get greatest notes. And to me, that's fine too. But for those that have spent money on greatest notes, you also know that it's a crapshoot. Sometimes greatest notes say nothing.
Yeah. Okay, sometimes they're practically nothing.
It might be
just as something as simple or vague as coverware.
Yeah.
Not where on the cover, what kind of coverware, just coverware.
You know, it's
for $10.
Yeah, for $10, you might get 3 words.
Yeah.
You know, it might be the most expensive 3 words that you will ever spend as far as $10. 3 useless words. So I am not a big fan of greatest notes.
Do you think they'll ever do what CBCS does and just have like a QR code on the back? Or do you think it's just too much money to be made by charging for them?
I think it's too much money right now. It used to be free. I used to get them for free all the time.
Yeah.
In the old days, for those that are familiar with CGC, in the old days, you can call up, right? And they will even tell you 2 of the 3 graders give this book a 4.6, 4.5. You might get a book, right? That's like, say, a 5.0, okay? Yeah. And you call up and they will tell you the greatest note. And they might even say, one of the graders thought the book was a 5.5, you know? So they even give you, like, you know, what each of the grader will.
Yeah, that grader was high that day, but
yeah, and if you will deal with ABC,
yeah. Well, they only had 6 dealers originally, or 6 graders originally, right? 2 teams.
Yeah, and then there was 2 teams. Now they have 4 teams.
Wow.
Yeah,
we know
they have double.
Yeah.
Speaking of CGC, you hear the news that they are expanding their crossover
weakness. Isn't that what they call it?
What they call it?
the sweetness or something like that. I think in the email.
I don't know. I was away when the email come. I just saw Reggie chat when he mentioned something that they have expanded the crossover to different tiers.
Must have done really well, I bet. That's probably why they did it.
Yeah. I was not. So for those that was at New York Con, was there a long lines of people with hand trucks of PGX books and CBCS slabs?
I didn't see it.
Because the offering is insane. Something like, if the grades go down, they even give you discount and all that stuff. It's crazy. It seemed like so much work.
Well, from some certain companies, I guess.
It's a wonder too. It's not like they're lacking for work right now.
They are so busy.
I know.
As I mentioned last week, this is competition. If you have someone throat under your feet, you step on it. Come to Nicholas Vu School of Business.
Yes.
You do not let up.
Yeah.
Shove the knife in there and you twist it and flip it. Okay, there's no just stabbing and pulling it out.
Hey Nick, I thought you didn't like horror.
Yeah.
I don't like horror, but
well, you just described a horror scene that better than what Jack Davis could draw.
Yeah. And/or a recap of what happened up in Boston.
Hell, you want me to write the Tales from the Crypt series? You write it.
Oh my God, he sounds like a vicious killer.
Yeah.
Stab it in there, twist the knife, lift it up.
The guts falling out of the wound.
Oh, awesome.
But yeah, so I'm not surprised. It's business. You can like it, you can hate it, but it's business. Let's see. Comic Books New York is here. Blasted or Stash It is here. Oh, we have a question here in the chat room.
All right.
Who are those buying a single comic for $25,000 to $30,000? Is there an echelon of collector that are secret or silent among super wealthy? Pope Cerebrus the first asked the question. Who are those buying a single comic for $25,000 to $30,000?
Nick Vu.
You're looking at one of
them. Well, Pope, I can be.
Can I call you Pope?
I can be one of those, and I am not in any different echelon of anything. No, it's.
He is right, though. I do think there's a segment of collectors that they don't interact. The idea or even thought of making a YouTube video sickens them to be around, the Charlie Six-Pack type people of the world. They don't want any part of it. And I get that. And I'm sure they're out there. I doubt they watch this. I doubt they ever see YouTube.
Yeah, there are collectors out there.
They have monocles and top hats. They look like Mr. Peanut and they walk around.
Yeah. Well, au contraire to a lot of people believe, not everybody that in this hobby is about showing off.
No.
Okay, so let that be very clear.
Yeah.
There might be Lee Kirby Ditko on YouTube, but there are hundreds, if not thousands, of collectors that will crush that collection.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And they don't care to be the Lee Kirby Ditko channel with 4,000 subscribers. They don't give a rat ass about that. Okay, so there are plenty. Just as in the CGC forum, people in the CGC forum think that, if you collect books, you got to show off. That's how I dislike the CGC forum in the very beginning. I'm like, show off what? I don't need to brag to anybody on the CGC forum to be accepted.
I think there's a large part of collecting in general, though, that's part of the allure of collecting for a lot of people is to be part of a group and show, here's what I have. It's kind of a one-up kind of people.
Yeah, there are.
Sports, too. If you think about it, when you talk to somebody and say you're a Steeler fan and somebody's a Cowboy fan, you always get back and forth and arguing, about the Super Bowls and things like that. I just think it's part of the hobby. At least part of the hobby. It's not all the hobby.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. And yeah, I've met people that have killer collections, but have no desire to be on YouTube, who are not on YouTube, and like what Nick said, can just crush whatever you think you have in a second.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this hobby as some kind of like contest, a competition that I have bigger swinging, whatever it is, um,
there are
you're gonna
people
be
out there that could utterly destroy you. So
yeah, so just enjoy the hobby. Stop bragging. Stop showing off as if this is like the greatest thing. And it's nothing wrong with sharing or show off some stuff. We all do that. That's why we are on YouTube.
Yeah.
Let's be very clear. I'm not saying that I don't show off stuff, but let me say this: I don't show off everything. You know, I mean, it took me 4 years on YouTube to show, no, 5 years on YouTube to show my Batman one. You know, I mean, some channel would show up Batman one the moment that it arrived from Comic Link. You know, the moment that they came into the moment that the postman dropped off, they got a.
They would show you how they show you opening it.
The parking lot.
So it's all about, you know, what is important to you. I mean,
yeah.
I don't need YouTube to enjoy the hobby. If I can show the books to a few local friends or some friends online, that's fine.
Yeah. My favorite part of YouTube really is the guys that talk about the stories, the art, and why they like the book. Or my favorite of all is when they talk about how they got the book or how it takes them back in time. Those to me are the best channels that I watch.
You were the one that coined the term paper time machine, Patrick.
Yeah.
So
I think that's why some of us are into it too. I mean, once you get older and you start realizing that at that point in your life when you were, you know, you were carefree, you didn't have responsibilities, and picking up a 25-cent comic book, you just escaped, and it was just a great feeling. You kind of want to capture that again, and I think that's why a lot of us, at least guys, you know, get into their 40s, they start buying the stuff, or they take out their stuff. For me, I hadn't looked at my books in 20 years, and when I did, it was like they were new again, and I love that kind of stuff. All this other stuff, all this political, economic junk that's going on in the modern books, I just can't get into, and I ignore all of that on YouTube.
I mean,
so I'm not on Twitter, I'm not on Instagram or Facebook, so I don't see any of that. So I'm not even aware of it. So, and nor do I care.
I could not care less about that stuff. Yeah. You know, it's like every time if I make a video, if I'm showing off a couple of things and I'm talking, oh, this is what I got back in 1993, I sometimes try to stop myself saying that people are tired of me saying, oh, I got this back in 1993. But it's like what you were saying. It brings me back to a time when, you know, you're carefree.
Yeah.
You may have been in the hobby for a while. And that's part of the enjoyment of it. Not just, hey, look at this. I just got this brand new whatever, the new variant. Oh, look, I got Batman Damn #1, or I got this and that. I mean, that's part of it. Like when Nick said, you like to share, but there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
For some of us that have been in the hobby for a long period of time.
You know, there's nothing wrong with sharing. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, but the only time that I cringe a little bit is there are channels that strictly is there to show off.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't need to name which one it is because people know. Okay, because the channel that just there to show off, and they really have no interaction with anybody else. They don't really watch any other people channel. They don't comment on anybody else channel. They're just there to like, look at what I have. Goodbye.
Good night now.
Yeah, it's like, look what I have. I'm awesome. That's it. They just want to hear praises. They just want to say, oh, you're awesome. Your book is awesome. Your collection is awesome. They just want to hear that. That's fine. It's not my kind of channel that I follow. You know, I don't need to do that. I don't need to have that kind of attention, but that's okay. It's like I said, YouTube community is so broad in the scope of what people like and what they don't like.
Yeah.
You know, and I know I'm not a bag of tea for a lot of people. and I'm too old to try to conform to meet the love of other people. You know, I am what I am. You know, and if some people find this to be offensive.
You offensive? No.
Oh, I wish I won that 1.6 billion.
Oh, come on.
One of your friends somewhere that sent you a really horrible video one time.
The best thing though is to hear my son. He actually said, Dad, we'll be happy with $100,000.
Yeah, he's right.
You know, he's like, we don't need 1.6. If we get 5 number right, we cool. I'm cool with that.
Kid's got a good head on his shoulders.
Yes, I am very proud of Anthony because some of the stuff that he say, I'm just like, I like that. I like to hear that. Okay, because I told him last night when he went to bed, if I wake you up at 11:05, you know why? Daddy staying up to watch the lottery, and if
why are you naked? Why is the camera on?
I will wake you up and tell you school is out.
There's the Alice Cooper song in the background.
Yeah, I will wake you up and say school is out because we are going to party. Party, we will. But Anthony was cool. He's like, don't worry, we are fine. If we hit, hey, he's even said, hey, if we got the Powerball right tonight and get a $4, that's fine too.
Get a hold of yourself, Dad.
he's more he's more reasonably minded than I am. I wish my son would want to appear more on camera with me because he's very funny. He has a take on this hobby like you would not believe. He would say things that would offend everybody in the chat room.
Like you're 40 years old. Why are you still collecting comics?
Like, you grown men are paying money for papers.
These things are 60 years old.
You are paying for newsprint in plastic.
Yeah,
that you
He's 100% right.
Yeah, some of the things that he said to me is hilarious because he's like, I don't get it.
Oh, if you look at it from the outside, it's a totally irrational hobby.
He think, but at least he even throw more dirt on cards. He said people paying for a cardboard piece of paper. At least comic books have multiple pages.
Well, to me, it's artwork. That's why I like it. No.
But for him, it's just like a baseball card is just a picture on cardboards.
Another thing I like about it, when I have like an old book, I wonder how many hands it passed through over the years. What was going on in the background, with the TV on and so forth. This book's been out since like 1955. Who knows? It might have been in a room with the TV going on, covering this side of news. It's just interesting. It's just interesting to me.
Yeah, I definitely like that.
Like if I could just put my consciousness inside a comic book and just be aware of what was going on all the years that I existed.
You could just touch it.
Yeah.
Well, the people in the chat room guess the channel that we talk about. Well, I already mentioned Lee Kirby Ditko. It's not as if like I'm hiding anything. And trust me, Lee Kirby Ditko does not watch this channel. He couldn't give a damn. Last time,
neither can we.
I can tell you this. The only time that Lee Kirby did go contact me was when he saw my video on Detective 31. And he contacted me and offered to buy it because he can give it a better home.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a little,
Better home at Lee Kirby Ditko? I don't think so. F off. Stop. Get the fuck off my screen. So yes, that was the last time I heard from Lee Kirby Ditko. I don't need any fucking asshole telling me I can give your book a better home. Sell it to me
with my dad's money.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway.
There's nothing I hate more than seeing that kind of comments because I'm just like, you arrogant prick.
Yeah.
You don't know what I have? Fuck off.
I think you just wrote this year's Christmas card.
Yeah. Is that what I'm going to get in the mail in a couple of weeks? You don't know what
under the tree. F off.
So anybody that want to go over there and wax his balls because he have awesome books, go do it. Holy shit! I read some of the comments. Oh, you're so awesome! No, like I said, some people love that stuff. Go ahead, binge all that stuff as your content. It's not what I care to see. I'm here to make some friends, have some fun. It's not about look at me. Well, anyhow,
I wish Doc was here. He would have loved that.
Yeah, we gotta.
Now, I substitute in for Doc Von Schiller because I
I know you were channeling him. I think he like
channeled-
put the voodoo on you.
You channeled your inner Dr. Von Schiller. You channeled.
I channeled Dr. Von Schiller. He would have go off too, but you know, it's that's okay. You know, it's hopefully he can figure out a way to join us next week.
Oh, he's probably freaking out right now. He's probably screaming his head off.
I'm guessing his computer's sick. I bet there's something wrong with it. It's got some malware or something in it, and Doc needs anyone in his area. He needs a visit.
Well, he's about 2 hours away from me, so
Yeah,
maybe I'll take a drive.
Well, speaking of which, I did tell my wife that next year at HeroCon, I told the date, and she's open to go.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so
so far I'm going.
So the plan is looking good for next year. So far, she doesn't have any plan like last year.
We'd have to do a live chat from the show floor. That'd be fun.
Yes. Yeah. We should just set aside a spot and just do a quick chat.
And we could kidnap Chris Claremont. Make him answer our questions. On page 34, you said Darth Phoenix did this when clearly she couldn't have. Can you answer that for us, please?
Yeah, so I told her, you know, as far as the weekend, she's open to that. We just had to, because it's summer, I'm not sure if we're going to take the whole week off to do something because Anthony will be out of school. I don't have any friends along the way. Otherwise, I would do like a drive where we would stop certain places. And,
you know, maybe you should look up. Maybe Lee Kirby Dick goes along the way, and you could stop.
Let's see this better home you talked about.
Yeah. Look, I brought my ball waxing cloth.
Well, you know how the internet and YouTube is. I can see people texting Lee Kirby Dick right now. ETA Nick is talking trash about you.
Oh, I hope so. That would be great. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, you know, I'm like, whatever. That's the sad reality of this hobby and this community is
someone stooges Nick out.
there are rat ass out there. So yes, go ahead and tell him. You know why? He's blocked anyway. So if you want to rat me out to him, make sure you say who you are so I can block your ass too. Well, anyhow, it's 8:03 and time for me to go before I block any more asses.
Yeah, be careful before Nick blocks us, Patrick. All right, fuck you guys.
I'm just in that mood. I say it's a side effect of my trip to Boston.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's you caught something there.
You're projecting, right, Anthony? Is that the word?
Yes.
Yeah. After I got back from Boston Sunday, I was so angry. So seriously, I was very angry with my family that I'm just like, oh my God, I don't want to ever go back.
Isn't it funny? Family what can make you the angriest?
With my family?
No, family can, just in general. They make you the angriest.
Whenever I get together with my family on holidays, I don't talk.
Yeah.
I just sit there.
Yeah.
You know, because
before we be more angry, let's end the chat.
Before we project any more anger onto people or onto our
I didn't even have any beer tonight, so Doc wasn't here.
I need to bring some of my favorite beer, which is Guinness.
Oh, I love Guinness. I'll crack one for you.
I will need to bring Guinness to the table in the future.
All right.